Hi, welcome to Chad's Silversmithing. I thought it would be nice to show the process of taking a slab that you've cast out of some of your scrap and then rolling it using a rolling mill into some usable sheet metal. So I think it's kind of fun when you take something that was sort of waste and then recycle it into something usable again. It takes a little bit of work and a little bit of time, but I think it's worth it because especially like right now when the silver price is so high. So before we do that, I wanted to thank some people. My patrons over on Patreon are my core group of supporters, and I really value their support as well as the kind of cool community that they've built over there. Thank you so much for being a part of that and for helping me out that way. The other group is my YouTube subscribers, and we just passed 24,500, which is amazing. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, and thank you for the nice contributions and the super nice comments. I really appreciate all of that stuff. The really nice comments and interactions I've had with people on my YouTube channel make it personally rewarding for me, and the contributions like the Buy Me a Coffees, the super thanks, buying my ebooks or my merch, that stuff makes my channel sustainable, so thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Alright, well, let's roll out some sheet. So this is one of my design idea sketchbooks that are available on my merch store. This particular one has a gauge to inches to millimeters chart that I find pretty useful. One of the features I really like, though, is the dot matrix in the background, which helps me to draw better pictures. And I enjoy being able to have a permanent record of what I've made. I filled up 4 or 5 of these books since I started the YouTube channel, and I find them to be super useful to helping me to remember how I did something if I want to revisit some part of that idea or recreate a project or whatever. So get yourself a couple of those. So my pictures today aren't terribly exciting. I'm going to take a slab that I cast a while back. If you're interested in seeing the video on how to cast a slab, I'll put a link right up there for you. There's a couple of things I left out of that video, and I should have mentioned them, but if you oil your mold first, that helps a little bit, and also I use a little bit of borax to clean the silver when you're melting it. So, but check out that video, it's a pretty good video, and this is kind of the outcome of what you get. You get these little slabs here like this, some better than others. If you get a good pour, this is a pretty solid one, so I think I could make something good out of there. I've already cut a piece off of this one, but I'm going to run it through my 130 millimeter rolling mill. It's a combo mill from Pepe Tools. I am a Pepe Tools affiliate, so if you visit the link that's in my video description down below and buy something within 3 days, it'll help you, it'll help me, and it'll help Pepe Tools. So feel free to do that if you're thinking about getting yourself a rolling mill. I really like mine. It's a good rolling mill. So I think if we cut this off, it'll be relatively rectangular, and we can just roll it through till it's a desired thickness. I might make something at the end here out of a piece of it, just to have something for the thumbnail to point to. Like, here's what it started as, here's what it ended up as. These slabs that my little mold make are about 3.9 millimeters, and it comes out to be just about 6 gauge. So one of the tools I like to use when I'm doing stuff like this is one of these gauge guides like this. I'm not sure where you can get these, but I've had this for a long time and I don't remember where I picked it up. Probably somebody else's tools when I bought them. But you can just slide a piece of sheet or a piece of wire in there and it'll tell you what gauge it is. So this just fits into 6 right here. So probably going to try and get it up to 18, which is right about here. I might take a portion of it off at 16 before we get to 18. Well, that's 13. 18's way up here. Sorry. So I rarely buy 16, so I might cut a little piece of it off at the 16 gauge and keep some of that, and then roll the rest out to 18. I'm not sure, but we'll see when we get there. It's going to require, when you roll something through a rolling mill, it's deforming the metal very seriously throughout the entire piece, and so it work hardens pretty quickly, and that's where the molecules realign and form a stiffer, more springy piece of metal. And periodically, as we're rolling it through, we're going to have to anneal it to get rid of that work hardening. And to do that, we'll heat it up to kind of a dull red color and then let it cool off almost to the point where it's cool, and then just quench it. And we'll probably let it pickle a little bit to clean it up, and then we'll roll it again so that we don't get too many of those oxides pushed in too deeply. But first I'm going to cut this little thing off, so let's go do that, and then we can start rolling it. You don't have to anneal it between each pass through, but with a thick slab like this, to really get it started, I don't tighten it very much between each one. We'll roll it through pretty gradually and do maybe 3 or 4 or 5 passes. If you start to get too far down the road, you'll start to crack the metal, so we're going to try and avoid doing that. But that's what annealing will take care of before that happens, hopefully. So let's go cut this off, and then we'll start rolling it through the rolling mill. Okay, we got mostly rectangular, except for this weirdness at the end here. I'm going to move my bench pin. I have kind of concentrated stuff here. So I put a piece of wood behind this so the junk that's piled behind it is less distracting. So first of all, we got to undo this. I cleaned the rollers off today with some rubbing alcohol, just because it's been a while since I did that. So I found a point where I can get it in there. So I'm going to tighten it down to where it's just slightly snug. And then we can start, I usually back it out first, and then roll forward. I should time this too to see how long it takes to roll this out to the size. Let me see if I've got a way to do that. Okay, started the stopwatch on my phone that I'm filming with here, so alright. I'm going to roll it through the other way too, just to make sure. A pretty even roll. Alright. I'm going to move it just a tiny bit in. You'll see it gets gradually smoother and smoother as it pushes out the imperfections. So just a little bit more. This will give you a good workout. Let's see where we're at size-wise. We started off at 6. We're not quite to 7, we're almost there. So I think it would be a good idea to anneal it at this stage. So let's do that real quick. I think mine would be easier to use my rolling mill if I had it attached to something a little more solid. I'm using an old countertop that was originally the counter in our kitchen, which I turned into kind of a workspace. It's getting just a little hint of color to it. I'm going to set that somewhere else so it cools off more quickly. And we'll be back in a minute. Here we go again. Okay, probably time to anneal it again. And we're back. Seeing a little cracking right there, so I probably need to anneal again. Let's see where we're at now. We're up to 8, now we're up to 9, I think. So I'm going to go do another anneal. Here we go again. Let's see where we're at now. We're almost to 11 gauge. So let's go anneal again. Okay, anneal again. Okay, I'm going to anneal that, and I think I may stop there for tonight. Here's the piece that I ended up with. So I got there's 110 centimeters, 15 centimeters, 150 millimeters. My narrowest part was 25-ish, 28, 25. But I cut a little piece out of this here, and I made myself a little hammer jam with kind of a nice thick. So, just as a proof of concept, making your own sheet and turning it into a piece of jewelry. So tell me what you think. Tell me issues you've had with doing this kind of stuff. My big issue is I'm not in as good a shape as I used to be, and that was quite a bit of work rolling that through. It's been a while since I did that. So lots of annealing, lots of rolling, and but overall I think things worked out fine. Produced a usable piece of metal, and I made a little ring out of it. So, alright, well, thanks for watching. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed the process of turning some cast ingots into sheet. And if you didn't find it enjoyable, I hope you at least found it useful. And if you did, make sure to hit the like button before you go. I'd love it if you'd take a moment and check out my main channel page over on YouTube. I'd love it if you'd take a moment and check out my main YouTube channel page. There's a ton of content over there, and I try to make a lot of content for different skill levels, so you'll find stuff that's very beginnerish, as well as stuff that's a little bit more advanced. But there's certainly tons of project ideas over there, so you should check some of those out. And please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you. The other thing is, check out the video description down below. There's some important links there if you're interested in finding out more about my Patreon, which is that nice group of people I have over there. There's multiple tiers of membership, the lowest tier being just getting rid of the YouTube ads, and then progressively different perks that you get as you go up the tiers, including things like Patreon exclusive videos, as well as some live streams. I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow with my patrons, and some other perks. So check it out. I'd love to have you as a member of that community as well. Additionally, there's a link to my merch store if you want to get yourself one of those nice design idea sketchbooks. I find them pretty useful. And there's a link also to my latest ebook, which is a guide to 2024's tutorials on YouTube here. It's got a page for each of the tutorials that I did that includes a picture of the sketch, a picture of the outcome, a list of materials it took to make the project, a difficulty rating, and a lot of notes that I took about the project, including things like, would I do it differently, or did I learn something useful from this project? How would I change it to make it better, or did I like the outcome? All those sorts of things. It's a nice way to have a whole bunch of projects right at your fingertips, and a really nice way to support my channel. So get yourself one or two of those. There's also one for 2023, so you can get them both for a slight discount. All right, well, thanks for watching today. Take care. Happy silversmithing.